Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another mod stream. What have we here? Oh, I was just on the Ion Cannon page. Very, very interesting. I mean, very, happy accident, of course. There's nothing going on with the Ion Cannon, don't worry. It's definitely not almost ready. You know how it is. All right. Let's get on with it. Should pop up the chat. Should get my whole setup done. So we're going to do a little bit of everything today. Okay. So I should pop open my Modstream documentation here. So it really just depends on what I feel like doing, what I feel like working on in this particular moment. There's a whole lot of programming related stuff that we could definitely get done here if we were so inclined. Obviously, the Clarion one is like a pretty easy one to do in theory, but I don't actually know how to set that up. I could pretty easily do the bar guest unifying thing. So I guess I can do that now. I also feel like this note down here where it says Zerg feel lacking in answers to air. I don't think this is true anymore because of basilisks, but I do agree with the sentiment that maybe if you don't go Hydra, you feel pretty limited. And also, like, obviously, if you go Lurker, in, like Hydra into Lurker, then you also feel kind of limited. Because then you have to build another Hydra den. But it's not that bad, I don't think. Kind of an open question as to whether or not it makes sense to do any of this stuff in particular. I'm trying to think about like what makes the most sense to tackle as far as that goes, but it's hard to shadowbox the Zerg meta. when you're dealing with so many different potential changes that are going to come out with, like, in theory, this sounds weird because if we look at the Zerg tech tree, we have plans to use the, where is it? So the Zoryusta lore is going to morph into Defilers, right? And so you'd think that makes Defilers harder to access because you need another unit to access them, and therefore another tech structure to access them. Now, the problem with that logic, in my mind, is there are a lot of reasons to use the Zoryusta lore, especially if you're running a comp that benefits from Defilers as well. Like that, I'm not saying Defilers and Zoryusta lores serve the same purposes, but they benefit and complement the same kinds of unit compositions and strategies. Obviously, they have their own unique extra niches as well on top of that, but they have a decent amount of overlap in that respect. And that to me is a pretty good marker that you can morph one into the other. So if you intend to eventually go Defilers, you will probably also benefit from learning to use Zoryusta lores in the first place. Therefore, you will probably get that intermediate tech tree option taken care of. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I think that's how I'm trying to conceptualize it right now. So that should be pretty. That should be pretty solid. I think you'll generally see, at least in the mid game, the transition into using Defilers will be easier. Building just pure Defilers might be a little bit more challenging because you have to go through the middleman. But that's a potential issue that we should be able to resolve with, like, the advanced larva idea in theory. So suffice it to say, it doesn't really make that much sense to worry about anything over here necessarily. Okay, so I'm a fan of that. Let's do this bar guest stuff. This is related to the cloaked reveals. That needs to be revised at some point. I guess this should probably just go in game hooks. I'm not sure if it makes sense to refactor the code so that it's applying it to the bar guest in particular. It also should be for each, I guess. So. Yeah, actually, I'm not sure about this one. I'm gonna change how I'm thinking about it. So I think this needs to be done in a way where we're basically getting the total number of units, which would be through the unit finder using this proc. And so this code right here to actually apply it would have to go in game hooks somewhere. And then that means that this code as well doesn't need to be in here. So in this case, all we need to do is check to see if the unit ID is bar guest and the player ID matches up alliance-wise. And then in theory, that's all we need. So if we jump down to, I don't know, it really doesn't matter where specifically. This padding stuff was for when it was active. We can just get rid of that finally. See you later, Restream chat. Thanks for closing, idiot. Stupid app moron. All right, so we can do if unit ID equals unit ID Protoss Vargas. So then first we check to see if so I guess we would have to do yeah. What's up, Balethal? Oh, it's because of the player ID. So if we do, I don't think we need a proc field, as far as I understand. Oh, it looks like we do. So it's the unit. So it looks like I can't actually apply. I was trying to get the number of units out of the unit finder, but it looks like for each unit I'm supposed to be doing this. The problem with for each is that I'm thinking it should be like additive, or I guess it could just be setting. No, because it can't be for each because it's like looping through. So really, what I just need is like the value of the or like the number of bar guests in an area, right? I need to find that number, convert it to just like take that number basically, and use that as the number of stacks for a for adding the A's stuff or setting the A's stuff. But I don't know how to do that in a way that actually takes into account all units, I guess, is the problem. Like all units that are bar guests. So my proc is just a thing that returns false if the unit is not allied or if the unit is not a bar guest. And so I figured it would return true a certain number of times, basically. Like I guess in the proc I could do like an integer or a variable plus plus and then set that use that variable as what I'm setting the command to. But then I'm not doing it very efficiently. And I'm sure there's some issue there with like setting it back afterwards, right? What I'm trying to think of like an example of this behavior elsewhere in GPTP. Of this kind of thing where I'm just checking for a number of units nearby. But I don't think there is anything like that right now. Fuck. Why did I choose to try to program with iQuery not even over here? Yeah, well, the problem is this shit runs every frame, so I'm just trying to figure out how to separate out the code that's running as the conditional bit. Like, ideally, I would just be able to pass a variable from this proc back to the function that called it. But that doesn't seem like what this is doing. So what this is doing is it's taking it's checking every unit within this radius and then running the bar guest proc on those units. Which is different than what I want it to do. Because I'm really just trying to get the number of nearby allied bar guests and increase the range by like 0.5 or 0.25 or something for every single nearby allied bar guest, basically. So all this proc does is just return false if it's not a bar guest or if it's not allied. Yeah, I know that has to be updated each frame. What I'm trying to figure out is how do I add it, but also make sure that it's being set correctly if a bar guest leaves the radius that I'm checking, or if a bar guest dies, or something like that. And that's where I'm sort of running into some issues because I could just do something like, you know, well, I don't even know where I would do this. I guess I would have to somehow set this. Yeah, I don't know actually how I would do it. I have to set a variable to 0. Maybe it wouldn't be through the unit finder, or maybe I would be using something other than for each. Hold on. Get match unit count. Okay, what is this? Maybe this is it. Dude, do I look like I know what initial value of reference to non-const must be an L value means? Anyway, get match unit and count seems like it might be promising. Let me take a look. Well, no, I don't fucking know what that means. What's up, Alexander? Welcome. Hope you've been doing well. I'm not concerned about performance, Balethal. I'm pretty sure that we are doing way more expensive calculations than this every frame. I literally just don't even know how to do it, even in a way that might be considered dumb. That's the problem here. I literally have no idea what to use. Because I thought I was just going to use a typical match callback interface thing with the Bargus proc returning false and get the number of times it returns true and convert that into the number of stacks. But I don't know how to check how many times it's returning true. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know how to keep track of how many times it returns true at any given moment. Which would probably be a very expensive way to do it, but things are pretty good. I've been super busy with some CS stuff, but also got pretty busy with the HYDRA, and it's looking pretty much its best. I don't understand how that helps me. Oh, you mean in the call to the for each? So you're telling me to do this? That doesn't make any sense. I mean, I don't even know how you would convert it to bool. I would have to say, like, if this returns. Well, apparently I can't actually navigate to it. There we go. It returns an int. I mean, I guess I could just do this. Well, this actually seems like it's exactly what I need it to do for all units if they match plus count. And the match is based around the whatever we're using. So in this case, it would be Bargus proc. but it doesn't return something I can actually use. Well, no, what I'm saying is that I don't know. I already tried assigning the value of the unit finder with this for each proc. To a variable, but it didn't work because it's apparently unit finder is classed as a void or something. I don't fucking know. When I do it this way and I just say int stacks equals, I get unit value of type void cannot be used to initialize an entity of type int. Even though we already just found out that unit finder is an int, and it's returning an int. But it must be because, I don't know, something gets fucked up, clearly. So, I mean, like, iQuare's used this all the fucking time. He would know, but I have no idea. I'll go back to this if I see Veek on the stream later. For now, what else do we want to do? Create a copy after killing a unit. There's probably got to be some way that I can repurpose like the spawn broodling code or something for this. Although I already decided that after killing a unit felt really bad, I think it should be like time in combat. Defining what is in combat is pretty rough, though. I think if it's targeting an enemy unit or if it's being attacked by an enemy unit, that would classify it as in combat. And so we would just calculate, as long as it's been... Well, the other thing, too, is, like, must be in... How do you refresh the number of comment? It's not easy to keep track of 10,000 fucking swarming units attacking, so that definitely doesn't make any sense. You would just have a read that grows in intensity over the 5 seconds of in combat. I guess I could go the other way and just say if the unit sustains damage, after 5 seconds it will create a copy. And then you just have to pop it, basically. I think that way it's like, I think that's a bit more interesting. Okay. The other thing though is like I'm not even sure if okay, I guess on weapon damage I can deploy this stuff. Trying to clean this area up a little bit. By the way, if you guys ever want to know how goofy Blizzard's code can be, if plasma shield upgrade is less than damage, subtract plasma shield upgrade from the damage. Okay. If the damage is greater than plasma shield upgrade, damage is subtracted. Oh, plasma shield upgrade is subtracted from damage. Blizzard. Uh, 128 is half of an HP. So you must deal at least that much damage, always. It's just weird that they would subtract the... Instead of reducing the damage like armor does, the shield just gets subtracted. I don't just... Yeah. I mean, it does. You just get regenerated anyway. It doesn't even really take into effect at that point. Surely I'll eventually be able to go to the location, Visual Studio. Fucking thanks. Oh, yeah, that's very helpful too. What's up, Mizu? Welcome. And thanks for the follow. Ah, yes, Mizu following me on Twitch has reminded me. I was talking earlier about the ion cannon. And you know the ion cannon? It's a pretty big beastly boy. It's got 36 range, which is about... It's a little under 3 sieged tanks put together, you know? And it can attack targets from a very far range away. But you don't need to go that far to hit the like and subscribe button. I can't believe I have to say shit like this. What's wrong with me? What is my life? But yes, it will actually be very useful for sieging bases. It's pretty much epic. The AoE damage that it deals after its projectile hits as well is going to be pretty big for area denial. And it will have a target ground button as well. So you can essentially just have full uptime of an area locked down, which is how I imagine it. That's how I imagine it will be used in certain cases. Is you'll have them on a control group or something, right? In an imaginary world where we can multi-building select. You'll see the ability to like grab a bunch of them and then, you know, paint one here, paint another here. And then you'll be able to adapt based on that, you know? There's a, I'm not sure where the code is for broodling spawning. But I guess we can also jump into... That's not what I wanted to do. I have to jump over here into abilities. Protoss. All right, so apparently the stuff is an API, so I'm going to take a look for Broodling. I'm trying to see if how do I go from looks interesting to looking like I know what I'm doing when editing a 3,000 line code document. Um, I am familiar with some aspects of the code that I'm looking at. Like either I've written it, or I helped write it, or it's been explained to me, or it's just simple enough for me to know, or I've had to like modify it in some way or whatever. But for everything that I don't know that much about, like I didn't touch this, so I'm still having to read it. It's really just about, as long as you sort of know what certain operations do, or and you have some idea of what you actually want to accomplish with the change, it's usually easy enough. Like I ran into a bit of a dead end earlier when I was trying to figure something out, and I'm just gonna have to wait for somebody with more programming knowledge, and specifically more knowledge of this project and like this code base to pop on. We'll see how that goes, but for the most part, I'm able to at least get somewhere closer to where I was before I started. And then if somebody else has to take over and finish it up or correct everything that I've done, then we just go from there, man. But the more I do that, the more I'll eventually be able to do it properly, so to speak, without making the same dumb errors. I think there's like a save. Oh, there we go. Now, the main problem is that I'm not sure. So I definitely want to put my stuff inside this for loop. I'm not sure how to make sure that. Okay, the creator. So I guess if we can do like. What we should do is also add another. I guess it would be like an S16 or a U16. Oh, fuck. I guess I'll just do. I'll keep it the way that it is, and this will be a short-sighted way, because in theory we could have two units or two abilities that do the same, for the same unit that creates stuff, and at that point I will need to refactor it. But I think what I'll do here is I'll just check the unit type, the unit ID, and so we'll say if creator ID queen. And then we can stick all of this stuff inside in here. And then we can do else if creator ID equals unit ID Protoss simulacrum. See unit equals CBW create unit in game unit ID Protoss simulacrum player ID XY creator. And then we'll say if unit is not equal null pointer, which just means make sure that it's an actual, that the unit got created. This stuff is remove timers, so this is like, well, it's kind of self-documenting, so I don't really have to worry about that as much. And then this is like all really, we don't need to keep track of any of this stuff for our method, so we can actually ignore all of the extra code over here. And then we can do something like, don't know how to fix yourself. Dude, for the longest time, I just refused to even basically coding. The way that I like to describe it is basically there's these ideas that I have of what kind of skills that I can do, which is like super arbitrary to even think about. Like, what do you mean can do? Like, you could probably try to do anything and, you know, see where you go. Oh, I guess we have to do something like this. Sorry, hold on one sec. I've been pranked. Okay. But yeah, for the longest time, I imagine it was like I have a folder on my desktop, and it's like things I can't do. And then there's another folder, things I can do. And then there's programming, and I just assumed it was in things I can't do. That's how I was thinking about it. But it's possible to move it to another folder. It's easy. Just do it. I don't know how useful that information is, but that's basically how I always thought of it like that. And then I wasn't able to get past that until I just forced myself to try. And I think it also helps if you don't go in with like, some people say don't go in with like crazy positive expectations. I would say don't go in with any expectations at all, positive or negative. Just be like objective in that sense, right? Just be like, I don't have a background in this area, and I don't necessarily know what's going on here, or maybe I do have these limitations in terms of how I conceptualize some stuff. Like I don't think about programming the right way. They say it's a language. I'm supposed to learn it like a language. Okay, well, I don't really know how to do that exactly, so it's kind of challenging. So like acknowledge all of the things that might make it difficult, but then think about all the resources you have. You can learn any programming language you want online for free. If you want to go super crazy, you can go like, I took some Skillshare classes for free because I got a bunch of free trials online and shit. So that was an area where I could even go to, in theory, a step up. But you can learn a bunch of stuff for free on YouTube, like no charges at all. So there's all that as an option. There's probably a ton of things that you might be interested in programming. So it's not even just like it's a boring task. It's challenging, but you can leverage the potential reward of completing the challenge by writing a tool or a game or whatever you want to do that will actually be interesting to you personally. So, I did it out of necessity basically, and then I found out that, oh, actually with enough time spent, I can actually figure out what I'm doing. And yeah, going in, like recognizing where you're definitely not going to be writing crazy thousands of lines of code every single day starting on your first day, but you might write 10 lines of code, or you might write a very simple program that adds some numbers together or does some division or something. And none of those are particularly interesting to start off with, but you learn a bit of the basics. I would also say something that helped me. I don't know if it'll end up helping you guys, but I would say for sure, if you can immediately start doing something with your programming, that can be really rewarding. Like I was able to immediately leverage what I was learning to, in theory, help program some stuff for what I wanted to create. So that ended up helping out quite a lot. I assume you meant you're in a class right now, or is this 6 years ago that you were in the class? Yeah, my brother's he's in his junior year of high school, his penultimate year, and he's already starting on some programming stuff. Like it seems like people are able to get into it pretty early on, which is better than me having to learn it at 25 back last year when I was 25 and learning it. At least I would assume that like the earlier you do it, the easier it is to keep track of shit. So yeah, I know. I was like, what the fuck? Where is the Reaver? All right, so now in game hooks, I need to jump in and I guess I'll just mass comment this out right now. And we'll say auto vitality simulacrum behavior if get generic timer. Hey. Unit value ID. Simulacrum clone timer. One. Unit player ID. Wait, what? C unit attacker. That doesn't sound right. It should be C unit creator. I don't know why it's like that. Right now, the remove timer is like floating extra shit that we don't need from that, unfortunately. So I guess we'll say C unit. I guess we can just say unit. Yeah, that's fine. Now the only other thing is I need to go looking for other auto vitality cases. So those two are fine. And yeah, we're just gonna go ahead and comment that one out. There's another one down here. Okay, I think we're good on all of those cases. No, I didn't even play 1.6. I watched a little bit of the games afterwards. I think Strike had some pretty good games on it from memory, pro games, but I mean, mapping was a different beast back then. All right, I guess we'll build this bad boy and see if my code has done the trick. Oh shit. Make sure their vehicles wear a mask, dude. Oh, I guess I have to relog into the website. Oops. I guess I should also go into the simulacrum's stats now, modify those. Simulate. Now I'm gonna denote this stuff in here. So we have simulacrum, size now. I'm gonna need to add a read for this, but for now we can just see if it works. It compiled, which is a good sign. Doesn't appear to be working, but maybe it's because the unit was stunned? No, I don't think so. Okay, we're gonna have to do some debug messages now. So weapon damage. Simulacrum. Where are we at, homie? Okay. Game hooks. We'll say. So we'll see at what point does this fail. Oh, I see what happened. There we go. Okay, so then all we have to do to fix that, it is actually working. That's pretty awesome, honestly. Okay, so we can actually get rid of this. I know what happened. I guess I have to go into game hooks and get rid of that debug message. That's pretty fucking awesome, though. This is absurd. That's fucking crazy. I like that. All right. Well, they're still using the old stats. So, like, if I ran that test again with new proposed stats, they would just fucking die. I think their weapon damage will also go down to, like, maybe 5+1 normal instead of 10+1 explosive or something like that. But you are right to be worried about the insanity that could occur. That very likely it will occur. Mm-hmm. 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 I'm going to hop into weapons dat and see what I want to do about their weapon, because 10 explosive is actually pretty high for a unit like that. So I say we go down to 5 normal and maybe drop their attack speed to 1.2 a little bit, so that, or their cooldown a little bit. Wait, 5 normal 0.2. We can drop their range to 5. And then I think that's it. Although, against certain units, that might just make them even more strong. I don't fucking know. Five seconds is a pretty long time, though. And I think when the read ends up happening, it'll be easier to see, but... But yeah, we definitely need a read for it. It's pretty good though. Okay, so now that we've spun around a little bit, oh yeah, I have to pull the chain. I forgot about that. It didn't work. There we go. Yeah, the only problem at this point is we need a read for sure. Let me see what I can find. There was a bunch of shit that was still something that I had to sift through. I feel like maybe we're not getting the right palette for these. Just a little bit. I don't know, man. We might. Might happen. Big Unspinner. Okay. Nice fucking name. Uggo Barracks. That is an Uggo Barracks. Get it out of here. Exactly, dude. Walking cock cannon, by the way. I guess so. When you put it like that. Dude, look at this man. Dude, he's better watch the fuck out. Minigun spider. What a fucking man. Mantis Cringer. Dude, what is wrong with this game? What are the graphics in this game, dude? Oh, oh, oh. I can't wait to see some of these units. Yeah, sometimes they just sit there. Embarrass Cruiser, dude. Check out my Embarrass Cruiser. I like these names, dude. I gave them very good names. Unspinner. Sin Star. Boner Turret. Boner Launcher. Gigantism. Okay. Reasonable fucking name. That does look gross. Rib cage mirror. Oh, I see. It's like a mirror on the wall or something. And then Mongo Horse. Dude, we love some Mongo Horse, don't we, boys? Wigglehead Raptor. Nice animation. Sup, to the man? Welcome. It's too bad that sword snake thing looks kind of interesting, but its attack animation is such a fucking joke, so nobody can ever use it. Maybe you could like. Well, I think you maybe if you gave a bit more context to your feedback, it might have been helpful. But the biggest sticking point seemed to be that answers to to your concerns were around the corner, essentially, right? You needed to take a deeper dive or ask or pose them as questions or something. I don't know. I mean, there were a few points in time where I think if you guys had been talking, like if you guys had been on the at the same time and you guys were able to talk about it in real time, it probably would have been more uh, constructive or whatever, more useful. Okay, so I can delete this since I just did that. So this is basically like a slightly different take on the simulacrum passive. I should repower this. Okay, so that's not what I was looking at. I'm looking for unit destructor special. We're gonna take. Okay. So then all we need to do here is change this to if unit ID equals unit ID Protoss vassal. And then we'll call this vassal proc. Vassal. And then up here, this will be vassal proc. Vassal. 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 And then we can say this vassal. We'll call this vassal stacks. Vassal pro vassal. Okay. And then where's simulacrum? Vassal stacks. So quickly repurpose that code, and then in unit speed, we have to jump in here. All this vassal stacks. I guess we'll have to say unit destructor. Okay. This. This is goofy, but whatever. There might be a less expensive way to check that. Let me jump back up here to find. Stacks. I will say the point of an optimization, right? I'm not even sure if this probably isn't possible. Maybe it is, actually. But what I would like to see is essentially two different modes of code. The problem is, like, you would have to find some way to automatically refine the code, or like decompile the code, basically. See you later, Tudeman. Thanks for giving Veek your feedback. But yeah, I was thinking if there could be a way to basically have essentially some sort of optimization, automatic optimization that would take human readable code that is not perfectly optimized, of like every nanosecond optimized or whatever, and then cut it down to what needs to be that. That would be really cool. But it just seems like obviously you get a lot of diminishing returns after a certain point, right? All right, so we've done this. And then I'm going to revert the mineral cost buff. Do I want to do that? Yeah, I guess so. Makes sense, actually. Because I already made them a little bit quicker to build. So let's do... Well, let's scroll way up. Vassal. Back to 75. Say... Protoss Vassal passive. And then, if we jump down to Vassal Weapon or Vassal Blast or whatever it is. I think it's 4/6 for the cooldown, next step down. What is the unit ID here? Vassal is 88, so... Okay. Put that back there. Oh, that's already at a lower value than what I have documented. Say 5. 18. Welcome back. Yeah, I was just talking about that machine optimization idea. I don't know if you caught it. But in a way, I imagine that's what compilers are already doing. So, I don't know. But it's some way to automatically make... I guess automagically, really, realistically speaking, automagically turn this shit into something from human readable to purely optimized and back. Ideally, you'd be able to like take that and run it through a compiler or a decompiler that would spit out a proper setup. So, oh yeah, we can get rid of that. Is there another thing in here? Yeah, I think we can get rid of this. Yeah, that makes sense to me anyway. I need to jump into the tech trees thing. And then simulacrum. All right, let's see how we would rewrite this. I feel like that should be good. Grab this. Let's say revise vassal. And then I'm thinking over here we should be able to build this. The fuck? Oh, this is for weapon cooldown. So if... Yeah, I just have to do the same thing that I did over here. All right, time to test. Well, almost time. I have to wait for it to build. Dude, the changelog for the simulacrum alone is pretty fucking intense. I like how it says it doesn't take 7 arguments, but pretty sure it does. I just looked at the function. I guess if it doesn't rebuild, I'll clean, close, and open just to confirm. I don't see how it can't take 7 arguments. Maybe the definition wasn't updated. That would make sense. If I go to API header. Yeah, this is the problem right here. In unit ID and count. All right, I think that's pretty good. I still want to test out the vassal stuff, though. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem like Reaver attack speed gets lower through the same method, but it's alright. I guess we can find some way to hardcode that in later. Alright, I'll take it, man. What the fuck? Fuck did I just see? Alright. So now the vassal is taken care of, although I still have to do the, I have to do some shit behind the scenes aesthetically. Okay. I'm gonna take a quick BRB here, get some more water and all that shit. But we do indeed have another set of changes taken care of. The vassal might actually be really, really strong right now. So in terms of like, just raw DPS against infantry and stuff. So I might drop its shields even further, but we'll see. Or its survivability in general. Maybe it's movement speed or something. Yeah, actually, I think that probably is a right thing to do. So we should probably do reduce movement speed. So I can do that when I get back. And afterwards, I mean, I guess I can ask Vika about the Barghest. But failing that, I'll probably just... I don't know what I'll do next, actually. Maybe I'll work on a map or something. Or some custom terrain. We will see. BRB. All right. Okay, now that I'm back, I wanted to actually keep working on some aesthetic shit. I need to actually create a vassal set for button sets. I know, right? Good luck ever actually doing that. At least regularly. I like how I did the whole like and subscribe shit on the Balathol video. In response, it immediately was downvoted to oblivion. That's pretty funny. Question is really what to call the vassal passive. I mean, auto vitality makes sense there. There's got to be some sort of robo-centric term that... Oh, here we go. I kind of like that just because it's terminal is obviously a robotic term, and this passive also kicks in at the termination point when the unit is terminated. So yeah, sure, I'll take that. Only main issue is I already used Surge a few other places, but it's not that big of a deal. Get out of here, dude. Oh yeah, I should also grab a different icon ID probably. I actually wonder if I've even done that correctly. Okay. In Unit Destructor Special, I want to make sure that in the Vassal proc, we're checking alliances. Okay, we are. Okay, should be good. And then I just need to make sure that the range is still good, because that was another thing that might have been incorrect. The fuck? Not quite sure what's up with that. Yep, okay, that's correct. Okay, should be good there. The fuck? Okay. Should be able to close this stuff now. Oh, wait, that causes corruptions? I forgot. Good thing I remembered. Should be able to close that out. And just in vassal, we need to point that there. Might drop their damage by 1 or something later on since they attack so fast now, the vassals. Okay, I think we're pretty good at this point. We can probably shut a lot of this stuff down. Sort of transfer over to working in Photoshop. No idea how good this is going to look. I'm guessing not very. We'll find out. iQuare also wanted me to throw in a bridge from Twilight, so we have like a Protoss bridge architecture, I guess. So, see if I can't do that for the guy. Might make some sense anyway. Oh, I guess I should do a more extended version of the main ones, actually. Well, I guess I can leave them there for now, whatever. I'll build on it. huge benefit of using the masking stuff here is that it will work on any tile type. Well, anything that looks like snow, I guess. But yeah, I think almost certainly this method, if it looks okay here, it'll probably look all right with desert subtiles as well. The one that I'm least crazy about right now is this right over here. But I don't really know how to best make it look any better. think it's coming along over here. Just hope there won't be any like tiling issues or whatever. But so far, I think it's been fairly solid. Trying to add a little bit of definition to the bottom of the snow piles so that we have a bit more to go off of. It's really, really subtle, but I think it'll help make the stuff look a little bit more natural. Okay. The fuck? Oh. Okay. Should be good to copy this. Move it around. Oh, wait, this one thing over here. All right. Well, I guess that's that. I mean, I didn't expect it to be so fucking easy, TBH. But there it is. You got your snow cliffs. At least they're it's a start for what we need. Main issue, of course, is hold on one sec. It should actually be cliff snow. So yeah, the other concern here is that we have... Oh wait, I just saved that as a PNG. Goofball. I guess I can resave it. Oh, the fuck? Interesting. Looks like the stuff got a little blue, but... I am prepared for this to look ugly as fuck until it's quote-unquote done. It'll take shape, I promise. I think. We end up kind of like freeform layering the piles at the end of the day anyway, which is kind of cool. Just takes a bit of time to actually slap it together here. Yeah, there aren't any right now. So that'll limit us for a little while, but... Ramp is obviously going to be the biggest time investment, but it's already coming along, I think. Just gonna make sure that the bits and pieces here aren't too, well, repetitive, I guess. There's basically like a certain minimum opacity that looks reasonable at all. And other than that, it really can only be used very sparingly or in certain circumstances. As like transitionary elements. And obviously I'm not really going for let's just say I'm no fucking snow scientist, all right? I'm not going to say that this is going to be a realistic depiction of how snow would sensibly form or look like, because I'm also not even a fucking artist, let alone a snow scientist, so definitely can't promise anything like that. But I'll just try to make it look as sensible as necessary while also looking as good as I can make it. Microtransactions are the bane of the industry's existence, and nobody should buy them. And maybe if CS takes a financial hit, Valve will do something, but unlikely, so they're not going to do anything of value pretty much ever. It seems like it's all going to come from the community. Yeah, I think that's missing the point, since they could choose at any point to deploy new maps regardless of operations, and they just don't. I mean, sometimes they do, I guess, but it's not too common, unfortunately. Yeah. Yeah, pretty obvious that there's in their minds bigger fish to fry, you know. One thing that's good for the mappers about the whole operation thing is that it obviously, because some people are really fucking twisted in the head, they are essentially paying money to grind stuff that they wouldn't do without the grind objective being there, which really blows my fucking mind, honestly. But because of that, mappers will get paid more. They get paid based on how much playtime goes on. It's like active players or something like that. So that's how you can support community mappers, by playing on their maps when they're added to the game. And that doesn't happen unless they've officially been added. It doesn't work on, like, it's not like somebody gets paid money for submitting a map to the workshop and people playing it. So, well, I'm assuming you saw it. I did a video on that map and it's junk. Maybe they'll do something with it. Yeah, it's Valve's fucking avant-garde decision to make you play a map with no cover. Although that big box on A is ridiculous. I played a few retakes and it's so fucking stupidly large that you can never fully clear it because they can just walk to another side. It's probably actually like the problem is that what little cover is there is so just stupendous. Just fucking what the fuck. You play Ring Around the Rosie on the bomb site. Pretty fucking classic move. Yeah, so it started out as a really new, like a new version of a really old map called Aztec, and then clearly the layout went completely differently, essentially. Right. I haven't played it in competitive, so I don't fully know. But I mean, I can see why people would appreciate the novelty of it, but it would not stay very long. Because, like, you can basically half buy one smoke, one flash your way onto the B bomb site every time, regardless of your economy. So, like, there's always something for you to do. But I wouldn't say it's particularly epic. It's not like there are a lot of fun decisions to be made, you know? Alright, I think that'll do it, even though it seems a bit odd to not touch the snow, or not touch up the snow on the other sides. I just don't see that as being necessary right now, so direct my attention over here. There was apparently like a snowy version of Aztec. I know War Owl made like a fake prank operation trailer or something. Well, yeah, but you're essentially arguing for the map on the merits of of people who are not good at the game being able to find success, which I mean, as a competitive like fucking turbo virgin, I really don't appreciate that. I think it's like even if I'm the one benefiting from it, I don't feel good about it. It just ends up being Hollow. In a way. There are some vertical engagements in mid, but that's it, yeah. I do like, listen, good maps do allow you to always be, well, they allow you to position yourself to have a lot of different agency based on your situation. The issue with that map is that it's actually completely hollow because you never want to go A unless you've conditioned the T's to, or CTs to stack B or something. You know, like barring some weird metagame shit, you're never actually going to be that interested in taking A or mid control beyond what's necessary to hide the fact that you're leaning B every round. Like to default on the map, you're basically sending 3B every time because it's just so easy to isolate and get site control. And you don't even need that much utility. You could throw like one smoke, one flash, and then if you wanted to use that as a fake or something to catch people out of position after, that's also something that you could do just by throwing that and then still have enough to re-exec onto it or go somewhere else if you wanted to. But it just ends up being such a fucking mess. Like if I was calling on that map, it would be so easy to like change shit up on the fly. And that's not me like being really intelligent. It's just because the map. It's literally because the map doesn't give you that many options, right? So I can't even really fully take credit of it. It's like if there's only one or two plays that you can even make, then yeah, picking the best one of those options is not very indicative of a high skill, right? There you go. I mean, people always are certainly entitled to their own personal biases and preferences, obviously, but so long as they don't walk around pretending that it excuses bad design, I don't mind. Which is more common than you might think, unfortunately. There was like some lunatic in the that was screenshotted in the Discord server where he basically was like, "Well, you didn't have I didn't have the same horrible experience you did, therefore it's subjective." Stuff like that. Gotta love it. No, like I said, man, I said competitive turbo virgin or something. Like that's essentially me right there. I want every loss to be because I fucked up, and not because the map didn't give me enough options. Especially in a game where I'm used to having a decent number of options, like in Counter-Strike. Just seems weird to not have the same number of options. I guess it also depends on what Valve's aspirations are for the map. I'm assuming that they're aspiring to make a competitive map that gets added to like the pro level map pool or something if it's good enough, right? And they want to be good enough to do that. They want it to be good enough, rather. That's what I'm expecting, but it could very well be that they don't have the same aspirations as I'm expecting. So. Balefall, if you even knew how bad Vertigo was for exactly that, and how that was a map that Valve just like forced on the pro players and forced them to suffer, and then did a bunch of stupid gimmick hotfixes and overreacted at every fucking turn. Just like my mother screaming in the background, that would be your reaction. Yeah, the latest Quake stuff is unfortunate, we'll say. Embarrassing, dude. Don't remind me. I can't handle it. I don't know. I think playing WoW kills you immediately in my book. Doesn't really matter what you do after. You have to, like Thorin says, you better cure cancer. That's pretty much it, man. You've already lost. Paying Blizzard money. Disgrace. Yeah, maybe there's a statute of limitations. I also played it a long time ago, but it's really hard to say that you've played World of Warcraft because that implies that there's something to play. At least I wasn't buying my own subscription. I just piggybacked off of my friend's PC when he was there and when I was over his house. But I could never get by. Like back then, I was like, it was so foreign to me, the idea of like paying a subscription fee for a game. I was like, what the fuck? Like, don't you just buy it once? I think that was back in the day where you still had to buy a license to play. Like, you had to buy it once just to own it, and then after that, you needed to pay up afterwards. So it was even more absurd. Whereas now, I think that's just the subscription fee or something. I'm not. I don't really know that much about it now, but yeah, that was fucking wild back in the day. If only that was everybody's reaction now. Like, what? I'm not doing that. Yeah, you were walking a lot in that game. Jumping a lot. I mean, it became very clear that it was just about the fucking social aspect to me. Because if I was like trying to fight some enemies or something, I was just bored out of my skull. And I didn't really feel like fighting other players because obviously if you're new, you're just going to get your ass spanked every time anyway by people who've been twinking out their characters. So... I don't know, the whole thing seemed like a waste if your friends weren't on, basically. But again, this is like a long time ago. This is at least 10 years ago, maybe more. Well, it certainly wouldn't surprise me. It would actually surprise me if it got better. I'll put it to you that way. People have been hyping up the new expansion, but I mean, it's like the same people who casted Overwatch or something. Like, I don't know. I mean, do what you got to do for your money, but after a certain point, surely you say, I've been fucked by this company too many times. As a consumer, as a professional, as a human being. Pretty moody theme change because of the different. I guess I can just move only the ice stuff over. I don't know why I have just a space BMP. That's pretty funny. Okay. Anyway. We're going to start by jumping into the tile set file. Guess I can just add this stuff down here. I guess I should probably make that this unbuildable. Just because it doesn't really look like you would be able to walk on it. Cool. So we pretty much just need to check to see if they look proper in game, and then I can do high snow and higher snow variants by just plopping in the canvas from other PSDs, in theory. Not so much of a fan, actually, of the color grading. I feel like maybe it made it a little hard to read, but we're going to find out if it actually looks okay. The problem with any MOBA now that keeps getting updates is you basically have a You don't have very many options. If you stop playing, it's pretty difficult to get back into it, in my opinion. Because they just add a bunch of shit, and you have to constantly be on the lookout for new stuff and like changing your shit up all the time, basically, which can be pretty frustrating. I know that much from experience. Yeah, you mean the fact that you didn't have to do ridiculous amounts of grinding anytime you wanted to try out a new champ? I have no idea what the system is in League now, but it seemed pretty goofy. I don't even know what Dota Plus is, honestly. But I assume it has something to do with the like pay to unlock better matchmaking experience thing. If I, just as a guess. Um, Looks like we have a bit of an issue where we need to like take this up by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It looks like 6 pixels, 5 or 6 pixels on the south cliff edges. Well, I think it's highly likely that. I mean, honestly, I was just hoping for actual improvements to matchmaking instead of it being fucking a paid thing. Like I already paid for the game. You probably already paid for Prime. Like the fact that you would need to pay for something on top of Prime. How many different things are they going to essentially force you to pay for in order to get a reasonable matchmaking experience? You know what I mean? Like that's sort of what I'm looking at here. All right, so this one only needs 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah, 5. That's like 8. Well, they'll probably print money anyway because the community doesn't give a shit about quality. Or quality per dollar, I'll say. Oh, if only. If only Alex's tweets had held that much power. At least I was able to figure out a nice little landmark over here. I think if I just go ahead and grab these blocks alone, I should be able to slap them over here and then quickly mop up the excess. Okay. So that should do that side anyway. The other concern is, of course, if I take this. So it looks like 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it looks like there's a similar little benchmark there that we should get rid of, in theory. Hopefully this also lines it up on the other side, though. Otherwise, we'll be in for a doozy. Well, I mean, Valve are like really invested in this whole fucking data approach with no you know, the mad scientist approach, basically. Or the silent scientist, I guess. I don't fucking know. Like, they don't really care that much about the people impacted by the decisions that they make or don't make. At least that's what I can reverse engineer. Having seen them. So the strange thing is they actually seem to blend pretty well. Oh, actually, I don't know that for sure. I should do this. Oh, yeah. It looks like with the cut that I made, it should line up perfectly. So we can hope, anyway. Oh, whatever. Drop it. Close it. I also don't know about this Cliff Doodad stuff. I should probably make the same cut for this one, but I'm not sure about the other stuff. Okay, that one's already cut that way. No idea about that side. fuck is oh, never mind. The wrong thing. Okay. Could you imagine? Still hasn't added bot support, so get him out of here, honestly. I think that's pretty good. Pretty seamless. There's like a little bit over there, but it's like a specific case. Let's try... Oh, I wonder if I even saved the brush palette work that I did. I think I did, but probably not, knowing me. Classic. I have to redo all that. Because when you close this program, it doesn't actually ask you if you want to save your fucking changes. Feels bad, man. That's a Papega. Am I a Twitch streamer yet? Oh, shit. That's not what I wanted to do at all. What the fuck? Of course. If only the industry ever aspired to be something greater than its worst elements, then we might get somewhere. All right, I think that'll do it for the stream today. It's pretty cool that we were able to get all that stuff taken care of. I'll quickly recycle these excess tiles from the junk we just did. And save. And for the dev build or whatever, I'll go ahead and throw that stuff up there. And I'll have to do the high snow, higher snow, maybe later on today off stream, but certainly not right this second because I am done for the day. But yeah, that was a pretty good amount of work. At least it's good enough for a first draft. I'll check the blending on everything to be safe a little bit later as well. But for now, I think we've got a pretty solid first cut of them, as it were. Just go ahead and throw that in a HYDRA chat. Cool for enjoy the eye candy, as it were. Okay. Yep, I'm good. I'm out of here. Thanks everybody for hanging out and talking shit. I'll get you guys pretty soon for another stream. I'll be interviewing some Black Mesa developers, which is pretty bizarre. But I'll be doing that tomorrow at my other channel. And obviously on Sunday, we're going to have to do the whole Fraud Night thing where it's a marathon where we do Counter-Strike into StarCraft because the Counter-Strike time is not going to work out. So yeah. Catch you guys next time.